2023 has been an incredible year for gaming. I'm sure we can all agree, and I would love to know what your favorite this year has been so far. But the year is not over yet. There are a few games that are coming out that I have my eye on, and there is one in particular that I want to talk about in today's video, and that is Star Ocean: The Second Story R. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. As always, got you covered with timestamps, so if there's a certain section you want to skip to, feel free to do so. Whatever floats your boat, all I ask is for you to support the channel and hit the thumbs up button. So let's dive straight into it. And the reason I'm making this video is because I've not long gotten done with the demo. That is right, I suggest that you go play the Star Ocean Second Story R demo right now and then come back to the video. If not, allow me to try and convince you, as well as talking to the people that have played the game as well. So, brief history. This is the first time me playing the second story. I got into Star Ocean till the end of time, but for this one, for some strange reason, I am particularly excited for it. So let's talk about what is in this. And I'm going to just refer to everything that I've experienced in the demo and just kind of like my approach going into it when the full game releases. And I can tell you now, we will be covering the full game here on the channel. Once it's released, we'll do a review. Maybe I'll go get the platinum trophy as well, because you know me, I like myself a shiny platinum trophy. Check out the Final Fantasy Platinum series if you haven't already. So Star Ocean, let's actually get into it, Jen. You've hyped up the intro, but now it's time to talk about it. So first things first, I want to talk about the story of Star Ocean, the second story. And there's not much to go off because this is my first time playing and we're playing through the demo, but essentially we do get the intro of the game. And we have the choice between two characters, either Renna or Claude. I picked Claude. Essentially, it has the typical Star Ocean tropes that I'm familiar with, that we start off in like an advanced civilization or a lower one, and we kind of travel to another world in the system that may be a little bit lower, maybe a little bit higher in technology, but there is a taboo on speaking of other planets and technology. But with Claude, obviously he goes straight in the bat with his communicator and asking about spaceships straight off the bat, so he kind of like absolutely obliterated that rule straight off the bat. And he gets introduced to Rena pretty early on. He says her in a forest. So then the adventure starts to begin, and this is how we dive in. I think I'll leave the story there, but let's talk about its characters. And with this game, we have voice acting. I believe this is the voice acting from the original, though if I'm wrong, it is definitely from the PSP remake. We didn't get new voiceovers for this particular version, though I think the Japanese voiceovers did. You can correct me on that one. But I'm digging the characters so far. There's really not much to say, and I don't want to spoil it, and I want to save like the story and characters mainly for the big video that I'm going to do on the full game. So let's talk about its graphics and its gameplay. And graphics is where it shines. It's where it caught my eye, because I would have played this regardless, but seeing the kind of development that they've gone through with this, like taking the HD 2D and taking it to a whole new level, because this looks absolutely stunning. I can't wait to play more of this. Essentially, all of the backgrounds are not pre-rendered here, they're all 3D modeled. Every single one of them that I've seen so far, from the towns to inside the buildings to the world map and to the dungeons. It looks stunning. And then they have managed to get the original pixel art, obviously enhance it a little bit, give it that HD 2D feel and throw it in there, and it works so well. Having 3D backgrounds and having 2D sprites is really truly the next level for HD 2D, and it gets me excited to see where they might go next. Imagine an Octopath Traveler with this. It's just upping the ante ever so more. Maybe we'll get a Chrono Trigger, maybe we'll get Final Fantasy VI, but this is definitely the style I want to see. And it does not stop there. All of the effects that you expect from spells and attacks, and even like water, waterfalls, the sunshine glistening from the sky down to the ground, from the monster effects, these have been enhanced tremendously, and it is very impressive, and it really adds to the experience to Star Ocean: The Second Story. So I think that's everything I want to talk on graphics, and that's really kind of brought a lot to the table for me and has got me anticipating some great landscapes we may come across when we go further through the game, but I am particularly impressed so far, especially with that world map and the fact that we have a free roaming camera, we can look left, right, up, down, and just having a barrel over time. I'm really excited. I have no idea if we get traversal vehicles in Star Ocean Second Story, but I'm sure it's going to look incredible if we do so. If not, that's okay. I'm very fine with what we've got so far. So let's talk about the gameplay. Essentially, it is your RPG. You go through towns, you go in houses, you collect items, you talk to NPCs, and you kind of get acquainted with the world that you're going through. The unique thing about Star Ocean is that you're going to be going through different worlds, different towns, and meeting a lot of different people. So it's really interesting to talk to each NPC and see what they are saying about the time and the place. I found exploration very rewarding so far in the demo, going into the houses, going in the nooks and crannies and finding all these different chests, whether it may be an item, which is like a portrait that I can view. I think I got a portrait of Renna and I could zoom in, zoom out and really kind of mess around with it. I'm really intrigued to kind of collect all of these. I'm sure there's probably a trophy tied behind it, but not only that, you get your kind of typical medical items, battle items, weapons and money, all kind of hidden throughout the world for you to explore, and it's the same for the world map. Before I go over to combat, I kind of want to talk about the menus, and it looks really visually impressive. Again, we are talking about this kind of like HD 2D remaster, and they've gone all out. We've got new portraits for all the characters, though you can switch between the old ones in the menu. I think there's 3 to pick from now. So you've got the original from the PlayStation, the remake from the PlayStation Portable, and then the remake that we are playing here now on the current gen system. So it is very customizable. Maybe you want to reminisce if you played the second story before and switch those character portraits out, but the menu is really nice to go through. The items are very easy to navigate, as well as sorting out your spells and attacks and kind of customizing the tactical side of the combat. It's all there and it's really easy to follow, and each thing comes with a tutorial once you unlock it throughout the game. So kudos for all of those nice little things that pointed me in the right direction. Right, let's move on to combat, and I feel like combat for me, this was really kind of like a nice Star Ocean to get into the combat because it's very easy. I don't know what it was like for the PSP or the PlayStation, but essentially we get to attack, we can evade, we can go into a menu, and then we've got R1 and L1 which will control our arts. So you can customize these as you unlock them more. I don't know if there's more customization that we can fiddle around with, like swip and swapping, so there's not just 2, maybe we can take 4. I don't know yet. The demo is very limited in what you can do, but so far it's been quite easy to get on with. I'm really excited to come across some more challenging bosses, but for the time being, really nice, very satisfying to kind of like evade out the way, go back in, break the enemy, and then go ham with all the attacks. Of course, like I talked about before, we've got like the tactical menu, so we can kind of fine-tune our AI, but there is a lot here for you to kind of fiddle around with, so you can get your playable characters that you're not controlling to do what you want them to do, and if they are not doing what you want them to do, you can switch over to them quite easily. Combat gets a thumbs up from me. Another thing that gets an incredible thumbs up from me is the music. Now, I don't know if this is the original, if it's the remastered, or if it's a completely new soundtrack, but it's got some bangers in there. I really like the fanfare music. It is pretty kick-ass, and I'm really excited to see what else is going to be brought to the table for Star Ocean the Second Story. And I think that's about kind of wraps things up. Because it's a demo, I don't want to dive too deep into it. I want you guys to go and play it yourself. If you have, do you agree what I've said? Have you played the original? Have you played the remastered version on the PSP? Are you playing this one? Let me know your experience with Star Ocean the Second Story, and I'm pretty excited release. The reason I want to make this video is because if it isn't on your radar, I'm hoping that I can kind of put it on your radar, because I think this may fly under a lot of people's radars. So I'm just doing my due diligence as a content creator and just my general excitement as well, just sharing it with you and talking about this Star Ocean entry. So thank you for watching. As always, you can support the channel by hitting the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you like the content, hit the notification bell if you want to be notified about content, and of course, get involved in that comment section down below. I appreciate your time, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.